Yo, what's up, fam? It's Coach Cam. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded a video. I've been super busy just with work, putting in hours at the fire station, putting in hours in between to make more money. I got to pay off my student loans and my wife's student loans, and we got to just in a season right now where I'm just grinding really hard. That being said, I've noticed that I get kind of tired and stressed out and angry when I'm tired. And sometimes I take it out on people like my family. So I reduce my training frequency to once per week. And right now I'm just training every Monday. So this was an upper body workout I did last Monday, and it went really well, seeing progress still. So, I don't think you can really be mad at somebody who trains less frequently but still makes progress when they show up. You know, if you train every other day and you make progress, cool. If I train once a month but I make progress, what's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with that? You still made progress. Like, you made adaptations to your body since the last time. Whether that's neurological, like you got better at that movement pattern, your body's better able to fire the motor units, or you actually built some muscle maybe since the last time. So it's important to be fresh and recovered so that you know that that's not a factor, and that the only thing that's a factor is obviously like sleep, nutrition, but you want those to kind of be dialed in so that the only reason you actually progressed is closer to being the fact that you built muscle. This is why it's important to keep the same exercises. If you keep switching exercises all the time, then what's happening is in the beginning, you're just building a neurological connection with that exercise. So the weight's going to progress fast, and you'll be like, wow, I'm lifting so much more weight. Yeah, well, that's because you are making adaptations to that movement pattern and getting better at doing that. However, once it gets really difficult to make progress, that's actually when you need to keep the exercise and you need to push yourself to make progress even when it's hard. And that's how you know you're building muscle at that point. You're not just getting used to the exercise. So I'm very used to these exercises. I've been doing them for a couple months. So it's really any progress I make is hopefully due to actual adaptations to my body. Moving slow as usual to not use any momentum, make sure the muscle's performing all the work. This is how to train muscles. This is not training for a sport or any other activity. This is preparing your body for whatever it is that you like to do in a day or in a week, whether that's sports or you have a physical job, whatever it is. Training your muscles will help you in that regard in terms of being stronger. And if you train them very hard, you will tap into your cardiovascular system, giving you better conditioning and endurance or fitness, however you want to think about that. So overhead press here on the machine. This is probably the hardest exercise for me to make progress on. It's been very challenging. It's just the way it is, but I like it. I like it in the routine, and I don't have a good enough reason to take it out of the routine yet. So keeping it there, moving forward. Next here is bicep curls, 30-pound dumbbells, slow and controlled. If you look back at my training for the last few years, you'll say, wow, you've used 30 pounds like the whole time. Yeah, well, I'm moving them with so much more control now that it's actually way harder. And this happens to a lot of people in their training journey. They tell you, oh, I've used like the same weights my whole time lifting. And yeah, but now they lift with a slower tempo, which is harder. So, if 2 years ago I did 10 reps really fast and then put the weights down, but now I do 10 reps really slow, this is harder. So I did make progress. You just have to compare apples to apples. So you have to track like each thing you're doing at the same pace. So I lift at the same pace on each of my exercises. So I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm not trying to move slow. I'm trying to just apply enough force to lift the weight and then just apply the least amount of force to keep it lowering down in a controlled manner. And that's the end of that exercise. Next is dumbbell skull crushers. I like these because it doesn't torch my abs like tricep pushdowns does. So still, stabilizing with your shoulders and stuff like that. But overall, really good exercise to build triceps with. So far, increased weight. I think these are 25-pound dumbbells. We'll see at the end. I know I put a screenshot of my training log. So I prefer to film my exercises. You can see your form. You can see if you really went to failure. You can also see how long the set took and how many reps you did. Because when I'm in the gym, I'm not thinking about how many reps have I done or what rep is next. I'm not counting reps. I'm just moving the weight continuously under control until I'm stuck in an isometric contraction. Then I hold that for as long as I can, which usually is like 1 to 5 seconds. And then when I can't do that anymore, I have to lower down. And that's the end of the exercise. So that's really all you have to do. And as long as you rest enough days and eat properly, you should come back and be able to do a little more. At least that's what I've found. Every workout, I've done at least a little bit more time, more reps, or I'm able to move up in weight. So it's just an experiment. You have to track your own stuff so you can know what to do next. But yeah, so far so good. Seated lateral raises. These are 20-pound dumbbells. And doing my best here. So make sure when you're training, you're tracking what you're doing. And you're training in a way that you can progress over time. If you're doing something too easy, like burpees or something, like how do you progress that? And what muscles are you hitting when you do that? You're hitting all of them, but none of them are being taken to failure. So there goes any kind of muscular strength adaptations. And you're getting lower stroke volume through your heart because you're jumping around. You're not just contracting muscles. So your heart rate skyrockets, and it's really uncomfortable. So I prefer to train my cardiovascular system like this. That way I have a higher stroke volume, lower heart rate, and it's a little bit less uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable in like a mechanical tension on the muscle type of way, but you don't wear out your heart. Your heart's a muscle, and I think people who constantly do routines and activities that make it beat a whole bunch, I kind of think you're wearing it out at a certain point, but that's just my take on it. Anyway, hammer curls here. Got to be careful. My left bicep was actually sore for like a week after this, so maybe it's getting a little overtrained. I don't know. Post-workout flex, and here's the stats of everything I did. It's important to take pictures or flex. It sounds vain, but trust me, you need to do this so you can see what you actually look like, what your muscles actually look like, and the progress you're making. If I just never did this, just looked at myself in the bathroom mirror every morning, like unflexed, I would look like an ugly slob. But when I do this, it's like, hey, I actually make progress.